Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray right here on AM 790 every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30. And good Saturday morning to you folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM 95.3 every Saturday morning from 6 to 7:30. And if you wonder how we do it, we even go to Jackson on News Talk 101.5 every Saturday morning from 8:30. Let's see, from 6:30 to 8. I tell you what, it's kind of complicated that we can be in so many places so many times, but it is that complicated time. This is December the 7th, first Saturday in December, a very famous day. And I have one of my famous guests in here sitting here with me, is the webmaster himself, G.T.
Mega famous.
Guy Trebo. Good morning,
Hey.
Guy.
Morning.
Good morning, Guy. And we do have busy times on LarryRay.com.
Yeah.
And you've
do.
got some new photographs that you just posted. What are they about?
Funny you should ask.
Funny I should ask, yes?
Well, it was Larry killed a buck the other day. It's the biggest one you ever killed.
That's right. That's right.
Eight
Yeah.
point,
Yes. Yeah.
defeating the last one by 1 point.
That's right. That's right.
And
Yep.
so
Yep.
he has followed up with me 9 times.
So we have we wanted to make sure that we had confirmation that it wasn't me, that wasn't someone else that did it.
Right.
You know, so we wanted to make sure, but it's all up on the up and up, and then the pictures are posted. You know, I posted that on Facebook, and I wrote a story, and I got kicked out of Facebook because of the picture, I assume. And the nasty thing came from Meta or whatever they are now, saying, if you do this, you will face the consequences. And so I had to take the picture off, and I reworked the Facebook posting and said, and it ran. And I've seen pictures.
With the picture?
It's that picture of me with a deer. I mean, but I've seen other pictures, but they kicked me out. So I don't know if any of y'all have experienced that before.
Yeah.
But
They're weird.
It happened to me, and so you can go to LarryRay.com, and we have several versions of the photograph. I think I'm in most of them. Yeah.
Well, did you get a video?
I did not get a video. I hadn't thought about it. I'll try to restage that sometime. But the deer's gone, of course.
You were at Sammy Brown's?
No, Sammy Bell.
Bell.
That's
Bell.
close. Yeah.
I was thinking of somebody else that
we'll
talk about
through
today. Sammy Bell.
Through the gracious of Sammy Bell, who I met Sammy early in the year at the First Evan Fish Fry. And Sammy has some land over around Middleton, and he invited me over to hunt. So Monday afternoon, I went over there, and I had a chance to hunt out of one of Sammy's redneck stands, and I only saw one deer, and that was my deer.
All right.
I saw it at about 315 from 200 yards. Then I saw it about 345 in the woods in front of me. Then I saw it at 445, 75 yards away in the food plot, and one shot. Thank you, Dave Gabbert, and we're trying to hook up with Dave because I used his reload, and he taught me to breathe easy, squeeze easy. But I tell you, it's been a long time since I've shot a big deer. I mean, probably 25 years.
Really?
Yeah. It's on my wall at Ames Plantation. I called it the 11:15 deer because I shot it 11:15 in the morning. But I have not killed another one because I've been really taking my part of killing does.
And you don't even talk about trying to kill one live on air.
No. We tried that. We've tried that many times. Turkey, deer.
Yep.
Even a coyote once.
Or a trespasser.
No, a trespasser. I did not try.
I'm going to shoot something. I'm going to shoot something while I'm here.
We tried, and we might still do that sometime.
You got close though.
Oh, I've killed them off the air, you know, and everybody said, "Well, why didn't you just go ahead and shoot?" And everybody think you killed it. Now, you think I would do that?
No, because you're a Christian. I get it, but
I'm a good man. So.
You did. You had one in your sights.
I did. Yeah.
One Saturday morning, and I was waiting. I thought, this is it, man.
This is it. The Whisperer Show. You know,
Yeah.
I would do that, but this one, you know, it's done, and so I can brag about it. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. A great show today. We're waiting on Dave Gabbert to join us, and then we got Andy Tweed coming in, but we're going to talk to Creek Stewart. And if that name should sound familiar to it, it's an unusual first name, but Creek is going to be on the show today. He has written another book. The man has written 40 books. And, of course, you know him from the Weather Channel, Fox and Friends. He's been all over the place about survival. Well, he's written a new book called Disaster Survival 101, The Essential Guide to Preparing for and Surviving Any Emergency Scenario. And so Creek's going to be on the show today. A great stocking stuffer is the book. And then we're going to talk to the young man out of Raymer, Tennessee. Not only has he won the World Championship duck calling contest 2 years ago, he won it again this year. Seth Fields. And not only that, on Friday night, he won the cut-down calling contest and became the only person to do this back-to-back, and he won early in the year in Maryland, so he's won 3 championships in duck calling. A world champion. He is a world champion, and so we're going to talk to Seth. Of course, he's got some roots around here, but he's out of Raymer, Tennessee, grew up in Huntington, Tennessee, and then it's that time again. It just doesn't seem possible that the Arkabuckle Lake Physically Challenged Deer Hunt is this weekend and next weekend. So Rob Hoff will be on with us. He is the land use manager, program manager at the Arkabuckle Lake field office. They really need to change lake out of there since Arkabuckle Lake is right now it's not there.
It's a pond.
It's not even a pond.
Pond at
best.
It's
a bunch of trees. But anyway, so we're going to talk to Rob about the hunt, which is going on this weekend and next weekend. And then, like I said, Sammy Bell is coming on to join us in the 5th segment, along with our good friend Dave Payne from Pipe Dream Farms Butchery. And Dave has been slammed.
Yes, he has.
He has
had to slam the door.
He has had to slam. You're great. You know, way to go,
That's
guy.
right.
I don't need the pun master. I got you. But he did over 200 deer opening weekend. Thanksgiving Day he did 40 and shut the door. This past Sunday he did 40 and shut the door. And he's back open this past Wednesday. And as far as I know, he's still the doors are open. But you better check with him at Pipe Dreams Farms Butchery off Burroughs Cemetery Road, right down the road from Slingshot Charlie's off US 70. So we're going to talk to Dave and my good friend Sammy Bell. And then we're going to close out today's show with a tribute to one of the legendary people in the Memphis area when it comes to fishing. Everybody knew Gator Brown. John Gator Brown. Gator's Bait Shop out there on Summer Avenue, right before you get to Stage Road. An institution since the early 90s. Well, Gator passed away recently, and the funeral is Monday. And so we're going to talk to one of his good buddies, and we know that is David Best of out there at S.Y. Wilson in Arlington and primary tackle. Just talk a little bit about Gator. You know, he was a retired police officer in Memphis and Bartlett, had a stroke and had to get out of that. And there are just not many bait shops around these days.
No.
I mean, he was one of the ones that it's a gathering place for all sorts of, you're not just going in there to get crickets and worms. You're going to go in
I've never gone into a bait shop that there weren't 8 to 10 guys standing around drinking coffee and talking and laughing.
And showing their pictures of their big fish.
Right, and not telling you where they caught it.
No, in the mouth. That's what Ron Wong always says. That's where he caught it, in the mouth. So we're going to talk to David Best in the final segment of today's show, but this is a special day also, December the 7th.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Yes, lived in infancy.
Infancy?
Infancy.
Infamy.
Infamy.
Yeah.
I was coming.
Thank you, Mr. Churchill.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
Prime Minister.
Yes. Yeah.
I was watching.
That was not him. That was Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt said that.
Yeah, okay, I got that.
So we're
he was involved. I watched a documentary about Churchill last night.
Oh, you did? Well, that's why you're thinking about it then.
That's right.
But this is the day, 8 a.m., Pearl Harbor Day, when everything happened, and we salute, man, that was some day, whatever it may live it to be. But let's don't ever forget that, December the 7th, 1941. And then, that, of course, that brought us into World War II. And anyway, so you're going from somebody talking about survival to the very end down here, a man like Gator Brown that survived so much. And I am going to throw in here on the opening quote that we lost also another person that really was close to me and so many people out there who grew up in Arkansas or follow the Razorbacks like I do, is that the death of Bob Holt on Wednesday. Bob, a long time, over 4 decades writing for the Arkansas Democrat, then the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, covering the Razorbacks and everything else, was at the Arkansas-Missouri football game, collapsed after the game, and passed away this past Wednesday. And as I mentioned on my Facebook posting, I've never seen a basketball coach stop in the middle of his press conference and salute Bob Holt like John Calipari did Tuesday night after the Razorbacks beat Miami. And he's going along there, and all of a sudden he stopped. And Bob had not passed away at that time yet. It was the next day before Bob passed, and Coach Cal talked about Bob Holt and what a legendary and truthful sports writer he was and will be really remembered. I posted on Facebook. Look up Matt Jones with Hogs Illustrated. He wrote a great story about Bob Holt. Grew up in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. His daddy was an educator, never married, and was just his whole life was around sports writing and things along that line. So look that up. But we're going to have a fun show. I don't want to just talk about death. I mean, I'm kicking it off with my death of my deer. That's I got a lot of death in here, and I didn't think about that. And I said,
well, it's not so bad when it's a life well lived.
It is.
You know,
it is. And the deer, I have names for deer when I kill them. With the of course my other deer was the 1115 deer. You know what this one's going to be? I killed it 2 days before my every 6 month cancer scan for my.
You're going to name it Scan?
No, I'm going to name it CT. Cancer. It's my CT scan, and that's going to be the deer's name, CT. Figure that one out. You're trying to think of that right now.
I'm trying to. Could we at least call it CAT scan?
This one, we call it that. Yeah.
We'll call it CAT scan.
Oh, call it CAT scan.
That's a real name.
That's a real name. Okay. All right, let's take a break. Come right back, and we're going to head to the creek. Creek Stewart on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
We're going to up the creek.
Up the creek, out the creek, down the creek. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 25th year on the air. Good Saturday morning, of course, to all you folks here in Memphis every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30 on AM 790. And we do have some folks in the studio this morning. Of course, I've already introduced the one and only Guy Trebo, who is the webmaster of what I think is a great a web page, LarryRay.com. It's a real tricky name, but if you get the spelling correct, it's okay. Good morning, Guy.
Morning.
That's a quick good morning, but Guy's already setting me straight on a few things. And then we brought in some enforcement this morning, 2 little guys here that have come in. And, of course, one of them always is packing, and that's my man Andy Tweed. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning to you.
Andy is short-timer with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. You folks know him here. He's been a part of the Shelby County law enforcement for the TWRA, closing out his career maybe by February, 31 years with the TWRA. And then in a little while, we're going to talk to the man over there, Sammy Bell, who will verify that I did kill this deer. Okay, I mean, I've got pictures like I do of my grandkids, okay, if you want to see my deer. But right now, guys, listen up because I'm really excited about this next guest on Outdoors with Larry Ray. You know his name. I mean, his name, when I worked in the newspaper business for 30 years, I could not use the word unique. They would not let me use that. I'm going to use it for this guy, okay, because he is unique, and his name is Creek Stewart. Good morning, Creek.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Awesome to be here with you. I appreciate your time.
Well, folks, if you're looking for a stocking stuffer, that's Russian, I think it is. But if you're looking for a stocking stuffer, I got it right here. It's Creek's latest book, and of course he's written about 40. I don't know, so many. The man has been on the Weather Channel, Fox and Friends. all these different kind of things. You know him, the personality is, but his latest book is Disaster Survival 101, which could describe this radio show. I was thinking about that.
You know, Larry, this is one book I've written that I hope people actually never have to use.
That's what I'm saying, because I am a weather, I started to say freak, but I'm not. I keep up with the weather. I'm a survivalist, so to speak, and Sammy Bell's laughing over there. He doesn't know me that long enough, but I do. But the book itself, Creek, I know you, man, your career is something else, what you've done and what you continue to do. And this was, I got to ask you about it because you've written books. This book, talk about how you came up with this idea and condensed it. I mean, there's information on every page, what to take and what to do and what not to do. Talk about putting this thing together.
Well, it's all about being prepared for disaster, and we just live in a world now where it seems like there's a new natural or man-made disaster every week somewhere. I have the saying that I use all the time. Remember, it's not if but when.
Yes, I was going to use that. yeah.
I beat you to it.
Yes, you did.
And I really believe that. You know, I mean, every time you turn on the television, there's a new disaster headline, and it's something that people are thinking about more and more and more. But it can be a rabbit hole, and it can be very overwhelming. So my goal with this book was to not only condense the information, but make it very practical and very affordable. I learned a long time ago that if something is complicated and expensive, people are very unlikely to do it. So I eliminated both of those factors.
Well, and you know, we're still, of course, we're in West Tennessee, but our brethren over in East Tennessee and North Carolina, I've got friends that live in western North Carolina. What a timely book, folks. What happened with Hurricane Helene. And then here you come up with this book. And I know this idea, you didn't write this book in a month. So that to me is an example of how life can change in an instant if you're not prepared, right?
That's absolutely correct. And it's not only timely for Helene, it's timely for the disaster of whatever week we're in.
Yes. And we are having them. I mean, it happens the more you get around to it. So talk about the idea for this book, because you've written so many other books that are so cool and things along that line. Talk about the way you put this thing together.
Well, the book is really in two sections. The first section deals with general disaster preparedness in two categories. How you prepare to shelter in place, to stay at home. What are the things that you need to be considering? What are some of the things you need in your house? What are some of the plans and strategies you want to have in place? And not only for sheltering in place, but for evacuating as well, because it may very well be that evacuation is the option that makes the most sense depending on the disaster. And then the second half of the book deals with 23 specific disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, everything to riots and pandemics. And so it's basically a checklist of what to do before, in the midst of, and after those disasters to really help people make wise, educated decisions in a time when it can be tricky.
Well, as I told him earlier, this is not Larry King Live. This is Larry Ray Dead. You know, I'm not sure what I'm going to ask you. It just happens the way it is. And I've got to ask you because we know your name. We've seen you on TV and things along the line. Are you doing what you wanted to do when Creek was a little fella? I got to ask you that. Was this in your dreams to do these?
Well, I tell you what, I grew up in Boy Scouts, which is really what inspired me to become a wilderness survival instructor. I taught my first wilderness survival class based upon the Boy Scout Wilderness Survival Merit Badge when I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
That's been almost 25 years ago, and at some point in my career, I segued from wilderness survival, and I included disaster preparedness for natural disasters as a part of what I do. And so while I started in wilderness survival, I've seemingly ended in disaster preparedness, or at least have made my way into disaster preparedness. And so it has been quite a colorful journey. I still very much love the woods, though, and I spend a lot of time in it.
Well, I recently watched the documentary on my all-time favorite wildlife person, and that's David Attenborough.
Oh, yeah.
The great David Attenborough. And I
Yeah.
said, here comes along a young Creek Stewart. And I look at what you've done and what you like to do, and I'm not. He's so great, but you got to have a love for the outdoors, and of course this show is all about the outdoors, Creek,
Yes.
and talk about your love affair with nature, because you got to have that too. Yes,
that's right, and I do. I certainly have a love affair with nature. I love being out in God's creation,
Yes.
and I marvel at it each and every day. And I love the idea that we can truly tap into the bounty of nature to
Yes.
survive, whether it's shelter, water, food, first aid. Those things, are all engineered and hardwired into nature. And, it's an incredible relationship, and one that too many people take for granted.
Well, and this book itself, folks, again, the name of the book is Skills to Know Whether You Stay or Go, which I really like that. Ready, Set, Survive. That's part of this series, Disaster Survival 101, the essential guide to preparing for and surviving any emergency scenario. And, of course, Creek does not have a shirt to go with this book because he can't get all those words on one shirt, but he covers what he does so simply. It's a paperback book. I've already put it in my backpack, really, because Sammy's over there. A lot of times you drift off in the deer stand, and you need something to drift you back in. And so you carry a book. I used to carry the TWRA guide, but now
that's real boring.
That's real boring. It's a magazine now with ads in it.
And it's really confusing to read.
It's confusing, but this book is not confusing. When I worked at the paper, they said always write for the 6th grade education. Well, that was over my head for some of my readers. I know that they kept waiting for me to draw pictures. But this book is information, and I don't know how you put it in it. Let's see. I'm looking at it real quickly here, and I don't have my glasses, and so if I get it wrong, the conclusion is what I hate to say I like the conclusion, but I do, because you've got to wrap it up, and I think, Creek, the conclusion is so important as the introduction, because you've done it. It says what your passion is in these 2 or 3 pages. So is that the way you did? When you put this thing together, is that something that really is? Because everything I've read about you, you do it like this. You have a pattern to do. But I would think you would call yourself a teacher, really.
Well, I am a teacher, and at the end of the day, that's exactly what this book delivers. Is I really tried to do in this disaster preparedness space. What my goal was with this book is to put together actionable strategies for the average person that are easy to implement and affordable to accomplish.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it is, whether it's food, shelter, water, off-grid heat, off-grid power, off-grid cooking, preparing for virtually any scenario that you can imagine, regardless of what environment you live in. I offer information that you can put into place easily and affordably that make a big difference when it comes to being prepared for a natural disaster that will strike.
It will.
That will strike. That we just live in that time where they are coming.
Yes.
It's not a matter of if, but when.
All right. Well, tell my listeners out there, Creek, how they can get a copy of this book in time for Christmas. It just came out, folks, just this December. It's just been out a few days. As we're on the 7th of December. So tell our listeners how they can get a copy of this book.
It's going to be available wherever books are sold. Any of your favorite online outlets, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of the outlets where books are sold. The pre-order sales have been extraordinary. It's a topic that everyone's thinking about.
Yes.
And if they aren't, they need to be.
They need to be. Creek Stewart, thank you. And be sure and tell our good folks that Tracy that set this interview up, and let's talk down the road in 2025. Okay, Creek? All right?
Hey, let's do it, Larry. God bless. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. I hope it wasn't too hard on you. Okay.
No, you were good.
All right. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I've been a giddy kid since Monday. Okay, just the way I am. You know, I'm 81, but I feel like I'm 18. I got the numbers backwards. You know, or I'm middle-aged for a 162-year-old man. I can't figure out which one I am, but and you know the gist of that. And we got a guest on coming up with us now that's got to be a little giddy too. And so, guys, and Guy Trebo, my webmaster from LarryRay.com, which I think, if anybody needs a webmaster, I got the master right here. He has stayed with me through the years, thick and thin, mostly thin. And then I've also got Andy Tweed over there. David Andrew Tweed. I can't
Good
remember.
morning. Good morning.
He is kin to Boss Tweed. That's what
yes,
they call him.
Absolutely, I am.
And good to have you, Andy. Of course, this would be first Saturday. Dave Gabbert and Gene Smith would be with us on the air. We can't seem to hook up with Dave, and Gene is having a little sickness problem. And Andy stepped in, been over in East Tennessee, visiting with his family and having a great Thanksgiving, I'm assuming, Andy.
Absolutely. It was absolutely gorgeous up there. Anything above 3,000 feet had snow on it.
Oh.
So the mountains were just beautiful, great weather, and just had a big time seeing family.
Where is that
and
again?
friends. Johnson City.
Johnson City, okay.
Tri-Cities area.
And
Yes.
we got another guest. Sammy Bell is in with us this morning. We're going to talk to Sammy in just a little while, but we got a guy on the line. And I hear the little one in the background, which I love to hear, because Seth Fields has been on this show before, and he just recently did something that a lot of people, I don't know if anybody's ever done. Maybe Seth will tell. He did win the World's Championship duck calling contest for the second time in 3 years out of Raymer, Tennessee, to cap the 89th annual Wings Over the Prairie Festival. Not only that, but he did some other things that we'll talk about. Congratulations, Seth.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Well, it's good to have you on, buddy, because I can remember when you first had you on, you went in there and you won that championship 2 years ago, or was it 3 years? Let's see.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, and you just missed last year. Then you come back this year, and you win the World Championship 2 times in 3 years. But on the Friday night of after Thanksgiving, you did something else. What happened on the Friday night before?
Well, they had the World Cutdown Calling Contest. It's been moving around from place to place over the past few years, and they decided that they wanted to partner with the Wings Over the Prairie, and they held the World Cutdown Calling Contest on Friday night, and then the World Main Street, duck calling contest on Saturday. So I was fortunate enough to blow in both of them and won both of them. So,
what a November!
Wow,
what about a November, man? What happened on November the 10th in Maryland?
Yeah.
What happened there?
Eastern Maryland was the world live duck out there, and I was able to take that title too. That was my second time winning out there, but it's been nearly 7 years, 8 years. It was 2017 when I won that one the first time, and
3 world championships,
amazing,
3 in 1 year. First time ever for anyone to do that. And I like what you said in the press release, Seth, and we know Seth, and we know he's been on the show, and we've been pulling for him. He said, you can't win them all if you don't win the first. And
that's exactly right.
And to win the cut down and then the live duck, they're all different styles. They're all loud and aggressive, you said right here. But when it comes to the World Championship, right there on center stage in downtown Stuttgart, been there, seen there, watched it many times, watched some of this live on stream, is the technical contest. And to do this, you said it's like music.
Yeah, it's a lot like music. I think of all the duck calling styles like music, but the World Cutdown, way I try to explain it to somebody is the World Cutdown would be more like your heavy metal, or hardcore rock, and then you turn around, and although it is still very loud and aggressive, it's a much more, jazz or classical, the way that you have to be artful with the Main Street and bringing stuff. It's loud, but you have to bring it down to nothing smoothly, where, that heavy rock or metal cut down is a little bit more brash and loud and power.
Well, you said think about Amazing Grace of the Star Spangled Banner. Get the tone, the pitch, and the tempo. So you've been there several times, and now I know our good friend and your good friend and my good friend, Buck Gardner, it took him 13 years to win his first. 13 years. And then he won back-to-back and won the world, the champion of the champion calls.
Right.
And so that's every 5 years. So it's going to be next year again, right? I mean,
it'll be next year, and I'm not sure. It would be nice, but I think they do have a rule. Was what somebody was telling me. If I win next year, then I gotta wait. I can't blow in the champion of champions. So I will. I'll probably, regardless, I won't probably blow in it next year. That'll at least buy me another 5 or 6 years that I get to practice.
Well, that's
trying to take that one down.
How old are you, Seth?
I'm 29 years old.
Golly, 29 years old. Now, I know Sammy's a duck hunter over there, like I am, and Andy is. That's Andy's passion.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to duck calling and duck hunting, and we're just getting cranked up on that. But I know you've always credited, and I read in the press. I'm so glad that you mentioned Mike McLemore, our late good friend out of Huntington, Tennessee, where you grew up, right, Seth? I mean,
yes, sir. Yep, that's where I grew up, and that's what I think I told him in the press release. I think I thought it was kind of nifty thinking, but I said I want to be like Mike. Not just in the regards of his success as a 3-time world champion and champion of champions, but Mike was just a great man. You'll never meet somebody more humble than he was, and just you could sit in the room drinking coffee. I used to remember watching him eat peanuts, and he'd dump them in his Coke, in his glass Coke bottle.
You can remember that, huh? Okay.
And when I was knee high to a grasshopper, as they say around here. But he was a great man, but he did win 3 times in the champion of champions, and I'd like to do that. But I told him, I said, I want to be like Mike, but not in the way most people say.
No, not like Michael Jordan either. Not like Michael Jordan either. Michael Moore. And
Mike McLemore.
And you've taken this to new levels, Seth. I keep up with you and ever talk about your call business, buddy, because and your family now. How old's the little one now?
The little one just turned 3 on Halloween. He's my number. He's the best employee I have in my shop, and he's also the worst one I have.
Oh, no, there's you have another employee in that shop too, don't you? I mean, that you got to take care of now. Your wife too. We don't want to forget her.
Yes. Well, she likes to let us go out there and make all our racket and all that, and she just comes in and tells me when I need to clean up.
We'll make sure she hears this. Julie hears this. But talk about where you've taken this to making your calls now, because are you still doing any of your medical business? Are you still doing that? Are you?
Oh yeah.
See, you're
a nurse. I'm a nurse full time.
Nurse.
The calls are just kind of on the side, or whenever I can make time, or if I can't sleep at night, just trying to watching him during the day, let him play outside and work on them. But it's just always been a passion of wanting to make calls too, and I kind of put it off for a while, just between college and moving and getting set up, and but now I've got that shop built, and have been able to get over there and start making some duck, and just started making specklebelly calls by hand, out of wood and acrylic a few weeks ago, and messing with it, but about to get ready to go back and start making some calls while I'm working this season. I work 7 days on and 7 off. So
7 days on and 7
days.
And
the days that I work, I can be around and get a little bit done in the shop. So
well, I know I know Andy how much you love duck hunting.
Yes, sir.
And I've got some great duck calls at the house, but I can play a trumpet better than I can a duck call. Okay, I mean I'm a former trumpet player in high school, college, and everything like that.
I kind of sound like an ostrich that swallowed the duck call.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I could remember Buck Gardner telling me he used to give away those wood duck calls.
Yes.
But he'd make them pay $10 to take it back after he gave it to the kid. So I can remember those kind of things, Seth. But this is something. Tell our listeners how they can go to your website, because you've got some great calls. If you're looking for something for Christmas, folks, it's made right here in Tennessee. It's made by a world champion, 2-time world champion. So tell our listeners out there about your call business and how they get in touch with you and things along that line.
Roger that. Well, currently I have speckled belly and snow goose calls on my website. There's a page on there if you'd like a hand-turned duck call or speckled belly call. You can go on there, and it's on fieldscustomcalls.com.
That's
and
it.
There's a section that says custom call application. And you'll just put your name, number, and email, and what type of call you want, and if you have an idea of what type of wood, hedge, coca-cola, African blackwood. If you can think of it, I've probably got it or can get it. But you just put all that information down, and I'll get it down in a book, and as soon as I can, I'll reach out to you and get with you and make sure that you hadn't changed your mind since you filled the form out. So nothing set in stone, but if you want something for you or your kids or your family, I'd love to make you a duck or goose call.
Well, he could do it too, folks. That's Seth Fields, Field, out of Raymer, Tennessee. And Guy, have we posted that story about him winning the World Championship yet? Or we will? I don't know.
We will. I don't know that
We'll get it up there. We'll get it up there and all the information on the website, LarryRay.com. Read about it because it's a great story and about his family and all like that. Seth, thank you, buddy. Have a great weekend. Any comments, Andy? You want a duck call?
I'd love a whole bag of them. It'd be great. No, I just want to congratulate Seth. That's an amazing accomplishment. And especially at his young age,
29.
And good grief! And don't stop at one kid. You need about 3 or 4. But they're wonderful. They're wonderful.
Well, that's what everybody says. And I guess if I go ahead and win one more and have to retire, I might as well get a fleet of Fields and get them.
There you go.
There you go. You need your own basketball team.
Yeah, remember that. December the 7th, 2024. Seth Fields said he's going to have his own basketball team. All right, all right, Seth. Have a great weekend, buddy, and we'll talk to you down the road. Happy holidays. All right, buddy.
Stay safe and good luck hunting, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, Seth. All right, let's take a break. Come right back. Now let's put some of these guys busy here because we got a big event coming up this weekend and next weekend. It's the annual Walker Butler Lake Physically Challenged Deer Hunt. If you haven't been, you need to go. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this first Saturday in December. And we got a big event going on this weekend and next weekend, and I didn't want to skip it because it's one of the big events. I was there, I think, for the first one way, way back. I don't know what year, and maybe we'll find out from somebody that's on the line with us right now. The Arca Butler Lake Physically Challenged Deer Hunt opened yesterday and at Arca Butler. And we've got Rob Hoff on the line with us this morning. He is the Land Use Program Manager for the Arca Butler Lake Field Office for the Corps of Engineers. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Larry.
How many years is it, Rob?
This is the 35th year.
35th year. Man, that just doesn't seem possible since way back in the early days when I was down there and we did these stories and everything like that and have kept this tradition going. And hats off, Rob. I told somebody we probably can't call you land use. Well, maybe it fits your title pretty good. Land Use Program Manager at Arca Butler Field Office and lead off the lake part. I mean, because the circumstances, as most of you listeners know, the lake is
it's no more.
Is no lake, and that's
mud flat.
That's a whole nother story. But this event, Rob, is so important to you guys. Talk about it, and then I want to throw in a guy that you folks know. He's got the FM voice, and he's here on the third Saturday of each month. He's not just a co-host of this show. He's one of my dear friends, and that's our good friend Frank Barton. And I know, Frank, this event means a lot to you, right, Frank?
It does, and my history goes back when you first wrote about it.
Yes.
Because that's when I first found out about it.
Yeah.
I read your articles.
And Rob, this thing, so as Frank listens in and joins in, as Andy Tweed listens in, as Guy Trebo listens in, Sammy Bell is in the studio. Talk about the importance of this event and exactly what's going to happen. How many hunters do you have? Tell us some stuff.
Yeah. So just a brief overview. This hunt started back in 1990.
Yep.
And so this is the 35th year. It started out with 6 hunters, and we were in a canvas tent.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've come a long way from there. We're up to 35 hunters now, and that's 35 hunters each weekend. So we have a total of 70 hunters.
And these hunters, tell us what these hunters are not your typical hunters. And I like the way you say physically challenged, because these hunters, they want to be there because they have to overcome some obstacles. Talk about who's down there, what's going on with them.
Yeah, absolutely. We say physically challenged because they're not handicapped at all, and they've got a attitude just like you and me. They love the outdoors. They love to get out there, and all we're doing is just providing a little extra assistance to make sure they can get out in the woods. But we've got guys, all different disabilities. We've got some that are completely blind. We've got paraplegics, quadriplegics, all different disabilities.
And when it comes down to this, Frank, you've seen this event. You've been there. You participate. You're going to be there this weekend. Talk about what impresses you, Frank, about this event.
That how these folks are, all they want to do is be normal.
Yes.
And they are normal.
Yeah.
I mean, their normal is just different from our normal.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
I tell folks that when you go around the campfire down at Arca Butler this weekend is the same campfire that you'll experience at any hunting camp anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
With the difference is that the people there roll up in their chairs instead of carrying their chairs.
Do. Yeah. And Rob, this is all up to your volunteers. These hunters do not pay a dime. The state opens their arms to these hunters from all over, because you've started other hunts like this across the United States, I know. So these hunters are coming there for the weekend, but they're also coming for fellowship, camaraderie, and they're going to kill a few deer, aren't they, Rob?
Absolutely. With the weather like it is, it's nice and chilly.
Yes.
It seems like the last few years it's been in the 70s when we've had this hunt. So we finally got some deer hunting weather this year.
And you're hunting in the same area, the Patton area, is that right, where you've always hunted? You're down in that area, all right?
We are. So this hunt takes place in it's over a little over 1,000 acres. It's a place that nobody else gets to hunt. Yeah. And so we've got stands set up specifically for these physically challenged hunters, and they get to hunt and keep our deer population down in an area that doesn't get any kind of pressure from other hunters.
And Andy,
yes,
I know this would be something that you'd like to be part of. I mean, to see these guys.
Absolutely.
And know that you as a wildlife officer, a lot of us take for granted we're the ability, as I say again, I killed a nice deer, okay, Monday. I'm going to say it again. Okay, be quiet, okay? I'm 81, but I am pretty good for 81. Right, Sammy? Very good. Okay, very good. But these guys, when they come to this event, Rob, they come hoping to kill a deer, and you just said you got some blind hunters. Did that go right past over my head? I mean,
it's
about
amazing. Yeah,
I think sometime I am, but I know that. But these guys.
Yeah, well, I use that excuse sometimes myself, but no, it's amazing what technology has allowed these guys to do. So with the assistance of a helper, they have phone scopes that attach to the scope of the rifle, and their assistant can see what the scope sees, and they just kind of help and aim the gun for them, and these guys get to pull the trigger, and We actually had a guy. He's been hunting with us. He's completely blind, and he doesn't have the use of the left side of his body. He harvested 2 deer last year, and it was. You couldn't tell him anything.
A typical deer hunter can boast about just about anything, which I've been doing, but I'm not the typical deer hunter guy. Be quiet, okay? But again, we're talking to Rob Hoff. He's the Land Use Program Manager, Arcabutler Lake Field Office, about the 35th Annual Arcabutler Lake Physically Challenged Deer Hunt going on this weekend. So you have 35 this weekend and 35 more next weekend, right, Rob? Yeah.
That's correct.
And I know that Frank has bought vehicles, ATVs down there and stuff about that. But Frank, the impressive I've always got from you is that put yourself in their situation and how blessed we are, Frank. You know it? I mean.
Oh yeah, and to watch them have so much fun. And I tell folks one of the funny things about it is they'll sit around the fire and they will complain about everything that deer hunters have complained about for years.
They will.
The wind was in the wrong direction.
Yeah, okay.
The stand is facing the wrong direction. It needs to be over here.
Yeah.
But this, that, and the other, and it's really humorous to listen to them. And I really enjoy it, and we've got folks down there that have their physical challenges come from a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Some of these folks are wounded warriors.
Yes, they are.
They have been injured in combat.
Yeah.
And protecting our way of life.
Yeah.
And to be able to come down there and just in a modest way assist these people in doing something that we all love to do, it's a great way for me to spend a weekend.
And Rob, I ask you, you couldn't do it without your volunteers, like Rob?
That's correct. I'm glad you circled back to that because they are a huge help. We like you said, when these hunters show up to camp, they don't pay a dime.
Yes.
And they have 3 meals provided every day. We take them to and from the stand. We clean the deer for them.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do it without the volunteers. And we've got a great group of volunteers that come back year after year.
Yeah.
We're continuously getting new volunteers, and we're always looking for volunteers that want to get involved with this hunt.
Well, folks, that's again the Arcabutler Lake Physically Challenged Deer Hunt. You just Google that, baby, and you'll see all the stuff over the years and what they've done. Before Rob, wasn't how old are you, Rob?
I'm 37.
So you were 2 years old when it started. I mean, I
was in diapers.
You were well. I don't. We won't go past that. We'll let that go. I don't know how long that lasted, but I know, Rob, this is important to the Arcabutler Lake and you guys. The old expression, hats off to you. Frank, thank you for what you do for these guys. And I know when we get Frank back on in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about the after effects and get back with you, Rob. But nothing but good success this weekend. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, Frank. And if any volunteers are out there and you're looking for something at the holiday season, this is it, buddy. They need money. They need help. They need volunteers. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great weekend, all right?
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. All right,
Thank you, guys.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. It's time for Sammy to talk. Get ready, Sammy. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Once again, it's Outdoors with Larry Ray, and I didn't say welcome back. I forgot. Okay, but anyway, we've had an exciting show today, and now it's time that Guy Trebo and Andy Twee can take a break and just not listen if they don't want to, because we're going to talk about me killing a big buck this past Monday at my friend Sammy Bell's farm up near Middleton, Tennessee. And Sammy, you said how long you had that land?
I've had the land about 12, 15 years.
12 or 15 years.
Right.
And so Sammy was good enough to ask me to come up there and hunt Monday. I told him I ain't coming Monday morning because I couldn't find it in the dark. So I came Monday afternoon. I met Sammy and I met Dwayne, his caretaker, and you took me to the redneck stand.
Right.
Now you
appropriate.
You picked out the stand, right? I mean, you could have put me where no deer were.
Right. I could have, but I knew that you were anxious to kill a deer,
Yes.
and so I let you. Actually, that is my stand, and so I let you hunt in my stand, and I knew that you would see some deer in there, and
Yes.
so fortunately it worked out for us, right?
It really did. Sammy said I could shoot a doe or a shooter. Okay. Well, the man on the other end of the line right now, it confirms that I did shoot a shooter. Right, Dave Payne?
That's right. You did.
Okay. So Dave is my processor from Pipe Dream Farms Butchery, where I ended up taking my deer. And we're going to talk to Dave in just a minute because anybody knows the word slam, it's Dave and Melissa Payne right now. What's going on with them? But Sammy, the experience, you were there. I sent you a text. I thought it was a shooter, and the next thing I know, here comes Sammy, and one shot. Well, anyway, 75 yards. It went about 20 yards in the gully. Thank you, Sammy. I wanted to personally thank you on the radio for the instruction. We met at the first Evan Fish Fry early in the year.
Right.
Sammy is a former athlete at ECS.
Right.
And I probably wrote about Sammy, but don't remember,
Yeah.
okay? I probably did.
Right.
But you extended the offer at that time. And here's the way God works, folks, okay? I hunt Monday at Sammy's place. I killed the biggest deer that I've ever killed, bigger than the 7-point on my wall that I killed at Ames Plantation 25 years ago. And I killed it on Monday 3 days before I have my next cancer CT scan, which I did Thursday. And I'm waiting on the results. But I tell you what, I was pretty calm and cool, wasn't I?
No.
No. Okay, Dave, you're listening to Dave.
Absolutely no.
Describe how I felt, huh?
Well, when I came up on him, he was shaking like a leaf, and I thought it was because he's cold. And I said, "Are you cold?" And he said, "No, I'm shaking. I'm shaking because I got this deer, this big deer." And what was funny, and I was telling Andy a little while ago, we took the deer up to my barn, and there's a little girl that's a nurse that was around there, and she saw Larry up there, and she said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Well, yeah, why?" I said, "Well, you're shaking." She said, "Well, I killed this deer." And listen, it was an hour ago.
Okay, so Dave Payne, you're listening to this. I can't imagine the experiences that people come to your place with your deer. And I'm going to get the deer. I'm going to get a special mount with my good friend, Vic Thayer Jr. I've already tested him, Sammy. He knows. He's seen the deer and everything like that. Vic is the greatest there is on stuff like that. And you know him, Dave, right? You got law enforcement experience together. But this has been a whammy of a season, right, Dave? I mean, tell our listeners how it's been at your processing place.
Well, it's been wide open, I guess is the word. It's we took about 255 deer on opening weekend, somewhere in that neighborhood, and then that shut us down for a while, and then we opened up and took 40 within an hour and shut us back down, and we did that 3 or 4 times. But now we're back open. We opened back up today.
Yes.
And so far, so good. We're staying open.
But stay in touch. I mean, go to Facebook.
That's right. Keep an eye on the Facebook page, Pipe Dream Farms Butchery, because we're going to post everything on there, and you don't want to take a trip if we're not taking any. But we're really, really trying our hardest to stay open and get caught up and knock all this stuff out. So. Well, hopefully we won't have an issue.
Well, Dave Payne, you and Melissa have been great to me and have been a part of the Outdoors of Larry Ray team for several years now. And this is where I take my deer. Let you get back to work, Dave Payne, but we appreciate you and Melissa and the job you do. Tell them where you're located because we got to get the people there. You know, so we can shut you down again. Okay, tell it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So 1365 Borough Cemetery Road. It's an Arlington address, but we're really in Galloway, down the street from old Slingshot Charlie's restaurant.
Yeah.
9 to 6 Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 on Sundays for pickup. After hours drop off is the reefer trailer in the parking lot. It's up and running. All the paperwork, all the instructions are in there. Just follow that, do it. All deer have to be field dressed. If you've got any other questions, you can call or text me 901-870-2819. Anybody that answers the phone can give you any answer that you need.
You the man, Dave. Thank you. Tell Melissa hello, buddy. I hope to see you. I'm going back Tuesday for a doe. We'll see you. Okay, buddy?
All right, sounds good. Have a great one.
Thank you, Dave.
Take care, Dave.
All right, Dave Payne. And Andy knows Dave's a really good guy. He and Melissa, former law enforcement officers and things.
I've been taking my deer to Dave, I guess, about 5 years.
Yeah. Since he retired from the law enforcement, and he takes everything. But Sammy, again, the facility is amazing. What you've done with that land and how much you love that place. I know that you live here in the area, but you got the land out in near Middleton in Hardeman County, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and this land you take care of it.
We do, and it's a joy to have guys like you that we can bring out and enjoy it too. I mean, if I just wanted to use all for myself, I would not get the joy out of it. But to see guys like you that get to come out and do what you did it means as much to me as it does to you.
Well, so I don't know how many 81-year-old cancer guys you got coming out there.
I tell you what, you can't trade you off as an 81-year-old. You're spry.
Well,
I couldn't believe it when you said that last week.
Well, it's still the same until he tells me I'm 90. You know, I mean, that's Trebo here, you know, and everything. But it was an unbelievable experience, and it worked out because if I'd have come Monday in the morning, I'd still be trying to find it, you know. Yeah. But I came Monday afternoon in the light, and I still couldn't find it because it took me across the road. It went forever. And then thank you for leading me out. Yeah. I hope you didn't get involved in that car wreck they had at
No.
There was a bad wreck, and I had to go through Collierville.
I heard there was a bad wreck.
Yeah, and I had to go through Collierville. But the memory is there, folks. And the pictures are now on LarryRay.com.
Yep.
There's 12 pictures of one deer. No.
Am I in those pictures?
You are in the picture. Yes,
you are in there.
You are in there, Sammy. You are in there. Of course, there's only so many angles you can take, you know, on this thing. But including the nighttime picture, which I thought was pretty cool. It turned out red.
Yeah.
It was kind of like.
Right, I couldn't figure out the red.
Well, it was the taillight, you know. I guess what it was. But obviously. And you know, Andy, you're out there in the field, and you know there are times that we think we're not going to get anything done. But I just love the piece I saw. That's the only deer I saw.
Yeah.
And I saw it 3 times.
And how long did you see him? It was a long time. How long did you?
I saw him 2 hours earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, not way earlier, 200 yards away. And I told my brother-in-law. I've told everybody, of course. I told my brother-in-law. He said, "Did you try to shoot it at 200?" No, I didn't want to wound one of its legs, you know. I wanted it closer, please. And Dave Gabbert, I used your load. I had my gun sighted in. It worked really good. That old 270, you could hear it.
Yeah, I heard it.
As I cranked it out and everything. But thank you, Sammy, for the memory. Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks, Dwayne, for his help. And Erica, his daughter.
Yeah.
You know, I got my knife back, you know, and everything. But they took care of it. And then, of course, I took it to Dave Payne's, and he's got it right now, and it's going to on from that. But as I told Sammy, memory makers, right?
Absolutely.
Next year, Mr. Tweed, you're going to be making a lot of memories.
You got it.
You're not going to have on that full armor, you know. I mean, you're going to go duck hunting. You're going to go duck hunting.
Yep.
You're going to go deer hunting, and you're taking hutch.
Yep.
And
we're going pheasant hunting and all kinds of carrying on.
You are, because you go north for pheasants, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we go south.
Well, all right. Anybody else want to say anything more about my deer? You haven't said anything about it.
What do you mean? That's all I was talking about. I'm glad we have it documented because by the end of the show it would have been a 16-point buck.
Well, Well, I wanted some. I had some reliable witnesses here. You know, I mean.
But you know what?
What?
Now I think about it, we had your first deer ever.
Yeah, we did.
The site.
Yes.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
That piebald.
Yeah, I shot the piebald. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought those were illegal.
Probably was.
Statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations is way beyond. So.
They run 50 years.
They run 50 years?
Yeah, we got to talk.
I don't even have, I don't even have that anymore.
We just got to fill out a little paper.
Thank you a whole lot. No, that wasn't a piebald. It was a zebra. No, I wouldn't. It was escaped from the zoo, and I killed it. It's in some meat processor's window right now.
Yeah, you shot a condor one time.
I did shoot a condor one time. Yeah. What did we do with him? I checked it in with Andy. That's what it was. He's got it.
You didn't kill it. They nursed it back to hell.
It did?
Yep.
This is getting really deep here. We got to get out of this because we got to get our stuff together for the next segment because it's pretty important. So anyway, I did not kill a condor, if you think. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. I've boasted enough. I promise you I won't say another thing about my buck today. All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we close out this first Saturday in December radio show with what I wanted to do, get back a little serious here. Not only that, but do a little reminiscing about a man that the Mid-South knew, not only from his law enforcement days, but most importantly from his days that as the owner of Gator Brown's bait shop on Summer Avenue, right there before you get to Stage Road. And so I've asked a friend of Gator, and of course he had so many, is our good friend David Best. And I know David at one time, primary tackle, was located right around the corner. From Gator Brown's bait shop. And then, of course, you have now moved out to Arlington at the SYS Wilson building out there. But and then we bringing in my man Andy Tweed, who has been here in the show. And, Andy, I know you knew Gator a long time, not only from the bait shop, which he started in the early 1990s, but also from law enforcement, too. I mean,
known him in both sectors. And a quick story, I had a Cub Scout group. They contacted me. This has been about 6 months ago. And they were like, hey, do you know somewhere where we can go catch some fish and these kids can earn a merit badge and get some minnows and crickets and all this other stuff? I said, absolutely. I said, I'll run the Gator Browns.
Yeah.
I'll get everything we need. I'll have all the equipment, and I'll contact a couple of landowners, and we're golden.
Yes.
So anyway, I ran over and met Gator and told him what we were doing. He would not take a penny. He was like, no, you taking kids, here's your crickets, here's your worms, tell me how it goes. And absolutely fantastic person, wonderful.
And David Best, you can echo that, I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Gator was always one of the biggest supporters of the Bartlett free fishing day every year over at Appling Lake. And I've known Gator for a long, long time. Our tackle shop actually was physically inside of Gators for about a year or two.
Was it really? I didn't realize that. Yeah.
So I helped you clean out that little back room where he had all the plastics and all that there for the last few years. And, we had all of our stuff in there for a while. So
and there's just not that many. Now, when I became outdoor at the Commercial Appeal in April of '88, there were bait shops. James Road, that one on Jackson. There was a bait shop on Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Right? There was 61 bait shop down going toward.
You had Jim's bait shop down on South 3rd.
Yeah. And so there wasn't. Now I can think of Gator. I'm sure there may be some on the Minna Bucket over in West Memphis. I mean, you had the Red Barn over there and all these things. But the day of the bait shop is not there. And yet Gator and Debbie and the family, I would come by there either going to church or going someplace out in Bartlett, and particularly when we lived in Bartlett, and there was always be cars there. I'm not, not just buying Minners, as Henry Reynolds said, and crickets and things, but swapping stories. And you know that, David, as well as anybody, that a bait shop is a gathering place, right? I mean,
it absolutely is. I mean, that's the beauty of a bait shop. That's the beauty of a small town tackle shop. Is it's that ability to have some community and walk in and be able to talk to somebody that wants to talk fishing and wants to be able to, they can tell you about what's going on locally. And you usually have that seasoned group of guys that are there all the time.
All the time, yeah.
That know all the lakes and know what they're biting on and what's going on at the area lakes. Not just what's going on in the big tournament scene, but what's going on. What are the brim biting? What are they? Yeah, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What,
the fishing report.
Little beetle or a big beetle?
Yeah, the fishing report originated in the bait shops, and as I read this thing, it said that since 1999, Gator Brown has owned and run the shop with his wife Debbie. In 2004, we all know Gator suffered a stroke, kept him bedridden for several years, forcing his retirement from the police force. Mm-hmm. But golly. The bait shop remained part of the community, and Andy, as you know, fishing rodeos. He helped supply a lot of our TWRA Mid-South Junior Fishing Rodeos and things along that line.
Oh, tons of stuff. It was constant from Gator Brown's at every fishing rodeo that we had. Not only the Henry Reynolds one, but it was all of them. Everywhere I went, there was something there in the prize package from Gator Brown's.
And I got to remember the nickname Gator. You know, I mean, he never was. He's not from Florida. I mean, I'm trying to remember how he became Gator. I don't really.
Actually, he was a huge Florida Gators fan.
Okay, that's it. Okay,
and that's where it came from. And he would close every year in the fall and go to Florida for a week.
He would. Okay,
that's where he went. He went to Pensacola for his vacations.
Well, everybody knows John Brown is from the man from the Civil War. That we think of John Brown, but we think of Gator Brown now. Is this and. I don't know what the turnout will be. The funeral, folks, I think, is Monday. Visitation at 1, funeral at 2. That's, I believe, is correct, but that's going to be at the Forest Hill Funeral Home and Memorial Park East, 2440 Whitten Road. And I can't imagine the fish stories are going to be told in visitation for Gator Brown. Only 64 years old. Golly, what an institution. So our prayers are with the family of Gator, and he had many. It was a big family. He had a big family, and the future of the bait shop, I have no idea, but we'll stay in touch. And while we got you on the phone here now, let's talk. You got lots of things going on at your place, don't you? I mean, I see all sorts of special. Black Friday is still going. It's the blackest Saturday and Sundays I've ever seen. So.
Yeah, we've been busy. There's a lot going on here. I mean, we just had our Christmas on the square last night.
Yes.
It was a zoo here, of course.
Yeah.
It's cold, but it was busy. We're still running lots of specials. The tackle shop's at 15% off through the end of the month.
End of the month. Okay, I didn't know if that was still going to go just for the Black Friday weekend. So that's the end of the month.
I extended it out. There's a lot of deals here at the store. We got a little bit of everything for somebody, from a Nebo flashlights and plasma lighters to
canoes,
turtle boxes, to
kayaks. Come get a kayak.
Clothing.
Kayaks to go.
Yeah,
make David's day. So what are we talking about fishing wise, buddy? I know it's cold. It's going to warm up to 65 Monday.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's that going to do to fishing?
They'll have a little spurt there, but I mean, when with this first little cold spell like what we're having right now, it usually turns them off for a minute. But they'll start biting again.
Okay.
They'll reacclimate. They'll move a little further out in the water column, and they might go a little deeper. And but I mean, look, these crappie at Horseshoe, they like to bite when it's like this.
Yes, and
you can catch them stupid shallow occasionally. So
stupid shallow. I've never heard that before. I mean, stupid shallow. That's real. That's real shallow, right? So
so 2 to 3 foot for winter. Yeah, it's shallow.
Okay, so what are you open today? Today's Saturday, the 7th.
Today's Saturday. We're open 12 to 6.
Okay.
12 to 5 tomorrow, 10 to 6 today.
10 to 6 today.
Our normal is 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday and 12 to 5 on Sundays.
All right, David. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much.
All right, David Best. And, Andy, I know you've had time to meditate and everything. You're still shooting maybe around Valentine's? Is that the plan, or what's the plan?
Yeah, that's real close. Okay. Sometime in February, either the middle of February or the end of February.
Okay, and a decision was made, and of course the commission meeting was here Thursday and Friday at Ducks Unlimited. I was out there Friday. Of course, I couldn't make it Thursday because I had my CT scan and everything else going on. But I hope some people took advantage to come to DU for the commission meeting. I'm not going to talk about the crowd, but you need to come out to these commission meetings because we're in some comment periods right now. I mean, they're going to be thinking some fishing rules and things along that line. And I appreciate Hank Wright and Bill Cox and our folks being out there. And I want to announce that TWRA will be back as a sponsor for Outdoors with Larry Ray in 2025. We appreciate that, right, Guy Trebo?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Don't mention it, Larry. I mean, I worked day and night tirelessly to get that done for you.
You did. I know you did.
No doubt.
We did.
No attaboy needed. It's all good.
Thank you, Andy. And the thing about that, Andy doesn't know, but we're going to utilize Andy when he becomes available to bring him in the studio for his knowledge of this area, because Andy spent almost 31 years here. If anybody knows Shelby County and the do's and don'ts, it's Andy Tweed. And again, we salute you, Andy.
Thank you, sir,
for your career and what you've done for Outdoors with Larry Ray. Guy Trebo.
Yes, sir.
They need to go to LarryRay.com, right?
Yeah.
And find out what's going on.
They don't need to. They want to.
They want to.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a giveaway for Christmas, and we'll talk about later. But I've got to hook up with our good friends at Radians for some glasses and ear protectors and things along that line.
Oh, man, they loaded you up.
They loaded me up, and next time Guy's with us, he can wear the ear protector so he doesn't have to hear. You know, when I talk about a big buck, I said it again. It came out without me even realizing it. But anyway, Shelby McCall, thank you, Shelby, for taking care of us. And we got to get out of here. We'll be back next week, second Saturday. You know who that'll be. He's back. That's Ron Wong. He'll be talking fishing next Saturday. Even in December, he talks fishing.
Oh, yeah.
He talks fishing all the time.
You can catch him.
You can catch him.
If you can catch him in December, you can talk about it.
That's right. All right. As I always say, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else do I say? God bless the USA.